welcome in everybody. This is sort of a different kind of conversation. We've been dating for a couple of months now, and things seem to be getting a little serious between us. I go to bed, I go to sleep thinking about you, and you keep throwing me the signs that you're kind of feeling me. So I want to talk to you about taking this relationship to the next level. No, in all seriousness, the channel is growing, and that means quite a few things. Number one, it means that you're supporting this content by watching, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and connecting on Patreon. Some of you have even gone as far as to support via Cashapp and PayPal, for which I am immensely grateful and mindful of what that means for the work. Which actually kind of brings me to the second thing that means, as far as what the channel growing means, is that there is work to do. And I want to make that commitment to do the work, do it right, do my best, and do the most. I'm hyper productive and all. But so that has gotten me to thinking. And so before I jump into this all the way, make sure you've already liked the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. And if you're interested in supporting and building community, consider clicking the link in the description to figure out more information about our Patreon. So this, just kind of wrestling with this reality, looking at, end of January, I think I may have had like 52 subscribers, and now we're looking at over 1,300 subscribers. And we're still growing, and I'm still figuring this out. I'm damn near positive I'm going to make a lot of mistakes along the way. And the good news is I'm sure you are too. So we're all in this together. But this definitely had me thinking a little bit, because my mind goes like, wow, why are people supporting this content? Why are people at to the point where not only they're watching and liking, but they're commenting, they're sharing, and they're sending financial support. So, me, if you don't know by now, when I think I like to write things down or type things out and just kind of build from there. And so these were my thoughts, as far as what you may be getting out of this that compelled you to support. Now, what I'd be interested in is, what are your actual answers? Because I don't know yet. I have some ideas, and I'm going to share those. Excuse me. I have some ideas, and I'm going to share those, but I'd be really interested in, what is it for you to where you're saying, no, this content is the content that I am interested in. This is the content that I want. This is the content that I like. This is the content that I need in my life right now. I am very curious to see if perhaps maybe we're in alignment, or maybe you're seeing some things that I'm not seeing. And I'd hate to fail to capitalize on those things. If there are other things here that people are getting value from that I'm not seeing, I want to know, because I want to make sure I'm delivering as much value as possible. Again, do the work, do it right, do your best, do the most. This is literally on my wall in my den. So, I put some thought to it, and the first thing that I thought of is that maybe people are really getting genuine value from the content that I create, and whether that value is educational, entertaining, or inspirational, or maybe it's just that I'm able to provide a unique perspective that perhaps you can't find elsewhere. I thought about that. I also thought about the fact that there may be some people may be feeling a strong sense of belonging to the sense of community that we're building around the channel, a group of like-minded individuals, and having that opportunity to interact with those other individuals, as well as myself. And then some might just feel a personal connection to me as the creator, maybe because I'm Black, maybe because I'm a male, maybe because I wear glasses, maybe it's because I wear hats in some of my videos. Maybe because I take a sociological perspective. Maybe it's because I spent, more than 20 years in ministry, half of that time as a pastor. Maybe it's because my story is a little different from other people's story. And maybe it's because I've spent a lot of time in my life really shaping the art form of communicating in my life, because I did live while I was a preacher by this adage that I become all things to all men that I might save some. So it could be a lot of those things. And then, of course, especially for the people who are giving financially, I'm thinking it has to be because they have an understanding of the challenges and costs associated with content creation and want to contribute to my ability to produce high quality content, or maybe even higher quality content. And so, for those of you that haven't got the memo, I got a little donation this week, and that was this microphone and this camera that you're watching me on. And it actually came from one of my newest, closest friends, Stacy, from the Stacy's Mom podcast. And so just very beautiful. So those are some of the reasons that I thought that maybe, or that I'm thinking that maybe people are supporting. And so in thinking about that, I want to make sure that I'm being intentional about responding to that support. Yeah, I think that's the best way to say that. I want to make sure that I'm being intentional, that I see that people are connecting, that we're experiencing right now what could only be described as explosive growth, right? This is momentum right now. I don't know how long it'll last, but while it lasts, I definitely want to do my best to be as intentional as possible. And yes, I just pulled my hat down a little bit because I can see myself. But yeah, I want to be intentional as possible here. So I want to share with you a little bit about how we're creating space for continued support, because we appreciate it and would love more of it, and how we're making plans to reciprocate and appreciate that support. And so the first way, I think some of you are already seeing, and that's just recognition and interaction. So um, our Patreons already know that we're doing our best to find ways to keep them engaged and included, even in ways that we don't exactly offer as a part of our membership tier. So doing a live stream with us is not offered upon with me is not offered a part as our membership tiers, but it is something that we're going to be doing with our patrons monthly, right? But it's just that type of interaction that we want, but that we want to be able to provide and cultivate, not just interacting with me or not just interacting with my family, which I'll talk about a little later, but also interacting with others, because that's how you build community. But also, as you've already seen, I'm interacting with you in the comments as much as I can, as long as it's sustainable, as much as I can. I'm going to stay in it. Right now, I do have a whole 9 to 5, and I do mean a whole one. And of course, I do have a family of 6. So I do try to take, breaks to make sure that I'm honoring my family life and definitely honoring my work commitments, because that's what pays the bills right now, right? And of course, having direct interactions and QA sessions. But we're also getting ready to, and some of this we're already doing, but both YouTube and Patreon offer the ability to provide exclusive content to subscribers and members. And so we can provide content, perks, and experiences to our supporters who are getting involved with us financially. Like I said, we've been dating for a couple of months now. This is that next level type of relationship. And, I want to do that justice and do honor. I want to make you I was going to say I want to make an honest woman out of you, but I kind of feel like I should say something different. We're going to work on that. But so I do want to share with you a little bit what we have coming. Now, many of you already know that we do have a Patreon, because I think I mentioned it in all of our videos, and apparently that's just good practice. But so, and I'll give you a little bit of information about that Patreon while I'm here, because I do have this kind of pulled up to help me keep all of these things in mind. And I do have a lot of things going on right now, like the Bible study with the next pastor. Installment 6 is processing now, and then I got to get it uploaded to YouTube. And then my computer is acting all types of crazy. But when you do connect with us on Patreon, we do have several tiers. I think it's like 8 tiers, maybe. I just wanted to give you some options, right? But those tiers include private community. You get a complete post archive, which means you get access to our post. You get early access to content. your questions answered on air, which I think y'all saw a Q&A I did last month, and I'm getting ready to drop another one for this month. You get your names mentioned in content at certain tiers. You get a free digital ebook from me as they're available. Unless you just want the same book every month, I'll do that too. I don't mind. But and then we'll be doing video calls with members and live streams and producer credit on our content. Now that is one of the higher tiers for the producer credit, but like at that moment, you really do deserve it because and the truth of the matter is, you all deserve it. Without you, just you, that one person who's watching this, another person wouldn't be watching this. Without you, that one person who's liking this, another person wouldn't be liking it. Without you, that one person who's sharing this, another person would not have the opportunity to share this. So that's something I am like literally immensely grateful for. Okay, so that's those are some of the things you get on Patreon, and I do suggest you click that link in the description and take a look at that for yourself and see if any of that interests you. And we also have a free tier on Patreon. So like for those of you and you're like, hey, my budget ain't here for that right now, or you're more like, even if my budget was there for that, I don't even know if I like you like that yet, brother. They may have been dating you for a while. I just met you. I feel you. I hear you. Join as a free member and see what all the fuss is about. Okay, so now let's talk about YouTube, and that's really what this whole video is about. I just spent 11 minutes to get to this. Let me do some maneuvering over here on my screen. Because of you liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, talking to other people about it, and even giving, our channel in the first quarter of 2024 has officially reached its first eligibility to be a part of the YouTube Partner Program. So because of that, yep, you guessed it, we're rolling out our YouTube memberships. Why was that so hard to say? But that's what we're doing. We're rolling out YouTube memberships. Wow. I didn't think this is where we'd be. And mind you, the closer, the more you get to know about me, you will know that I spend the last quarter of every year strategizing for the next quarter, for the next year. And this is not what I saw coming. Now, there were some things that I was intentional about. Yes, the last quarter of 2023, I made certain decisions that in 2024, I'm going to be vocal, verbal, and authentic around who I am as an atheist, as a secular humanist, and as a progressive. And so, yes, that was a decision. That was something I knew I was going to do. I wasn't sure if I was going to get back into YouTubing. I wasn't sure if I was going to be doing this on social media in any shape, form, or fashion, but I knew that I was going to be stepping out of the prayer closet. I did not know that it would drive us to this point, and then I'd have to be creating all of these tiers and stuff, right? So let's talk about it. Similar to Patreon, we'll have quite a few tiers. Patreon has 8. I think for our YouTube, we'll only do 5. We're not going as high as we do on Patreon on our YouTube. Not right now, anyway. But all. I'm progressive thinking, people centric, life affirming type of person. And to clarify, when I say life affirming, that means I just affirm everybody's right to live their life. Nobody needs my opinion about what they want to do for their life if it doesn't impact me, or restrict my life in any type of way. But so as that type of person, all of my membership tiers, whether they're on Patreon or YouTube, guess what? They are like progressive themed. So it's like progressive survival, progressive stability, progressive security, progressive supply, progressive savior complex. That's one of my favorites. And there's even a progressive supreme ambassador. That's the one that gets you the director credit on the producer credit on Patreon. But for YouTube, some of the things you get now, for those of you who are familiar with how this works, I am acclimating myself to this as we go. So please give your boy a little grace. But you're going to get badges, right? So, and at any moment in this video, those badges are going to pop up on this screen because I'm going to do that in post-production. But yes, you are going to get loyalty badges. And the way that I'm doing these loyalty badges is that I am setting them up. The first one is me bald, so you just get me like me. But each loyalty badge, as you progress, will have me with a different head covering on or a different type of hat. Because hats are a big part of who I am, a big part of my story. I don't know how, but hats show up in my stories a lot, and there's actually some reasons of why I had such a strong attachment to hats, and I'll share that later. Now, for those of you who are not going to join my tiers, I do want to make this absolutely clear. You're still going to get access to the same content you're getting access to. I'm not going to all of a sudden put a paywall between you and this content. This is the content that I want to put out. So I'm going to continue putting this content out. So you'll still be able to enjoy that content. But because I know that people are passionate about this work being done, so passionate that they're willing to financially support this work, for them, I am going to be strategically finding ways to add additional value. And so one of that is loyalty badges because YouTube says that's valuable. But then not only loyalty badges, but I'll also be be offering some emojis. Like right now, I think I can only do 4. And so my 4 emojis, I wish I still had them pulled up right now. Well, I can see them right there. Okay, but they're small. But my 4 emojis, one is yikes, as you can see, right? Because I do say yikes a lot. That is my response to a lot of belief and a lot of superstition. It's just like, yikes. And that is definitely my response when someone on YouTube sees the content of my video and has a totally different belief system than mine and decides that they want to try to force their belief system into the comments. It's like, yikes. Like, whoa. Or when someone gets in the comments and tries to say something that they think is really loving and it's just really ugly. It's like, yikes, how did you not know that? So yeah, one is yikes. Yep, that's there. Another emoji that I've created, and it's a recreation of a person who's definitely been a part of my atheist journey, and these are not in any specific order, but I like to call this one Glorified Hitchens. Yeah, I think you'll get it. And dang, I wish I can see it. But there's a little caption on it that says it poisons everything. Then this other one, you see this one. I think once you see the stars on the tie, you kind of know who this guy is. But I just call him Glorified Tyson, and he has a little caption too, and it's under no obligation. Yeah, that's a hint, right? That's a hint. Some of you know. You know. And then that fourth one is just a person that meant a whole lot to both my wife and I in the way that she lived her life, her art, and just spoke for people. She had an immense life, so this is her. We call her Glorified Angelou, and her little caption is "You can do better." So to our members, you'll have these loyalty badges and emojis at your disposal. And that's just from the first tier. So from the first tier, you have that. But as you build, of course, we're going to be giving out early access to new videos. We'll be providing some photo and status updates. We'll be providing priority reply to comments because, yeah, it's kind of becoming a jungle. It is a lot to manage. But for those who are a part of our membership program, we'll definitely make sure to prioritize those replies. We'll be doing members only polls, kind of giving you a little priority in helping us create content and helping us figure out what's going on and what we should be talking about and what type of content we should be creating. Now, we'll still be doing other polls with our wide subscribers as well, but we'll be doing specific polls for our members. And then, of course, you will be getting member shout outs. That's the least we can do. But just like our Patreons at an equivalent level of Patreon, because I didn't want anybody to feel robbed. Like I didn't want there to be anything you can get on Patreon while paying a certain subscription, that if you're paying that equivalent amount, you should be getting those same things. And so we have done our best to make sure we are aligned there. So yeah, YouTube membership, you'll also get free ebooks and digital publications from us, as well as member only live streams. And of course, connecting on social media. which you can do that anyway, but that's in there. Okay. And then we'll be doing exclusive members only video calls and again, photo and status updates. I think I put that in there twice, or maybe those will be extra special photos. Who knows, right? But yeah, so that's what we're doing on for our YouTube members, and that actually is something I'm excited about because again, I didn't expect to be having to think through this in the first quarter of 2024, but I'm grateful, and I hope that I can do this justice and get out to continue to put out information that is really valuable, and of course, the biggest thing for me is building community. So guess what? Discord is coming. That's probably where we'll bring everybody together. I had never looked at a Discord channel until this year. Like I know, and I'm a computer programmer, so that's odd. But another story there. But yeah, Discord is coming, so be on the lookout for that. And then another way that we're working on creating space and reciprocating and appreciating the support is just by, I guess, really leaning into this commitment to building teams that will help us continue creating quality content while expanding that content in every area that we can make meaningful impact and going beyond that content to really wrestle with the work of community building among non-believers, free thinkers, skeptics, and the otherwise non-religious. Um, that's a major part of what we're doing. So building teams and building community, and those teams will be focused on content and community. Like that's where we are. Which brings me to my final point, and this video is already kind of long, but I appreciate you for hanging out with me. The last part is I want to, because we're in this relationship, I'm down on one knee. I'm making the proposal. And I actually, oh man, wow. I can't believe I never talk about this stuff, but my wife and I, we actually do create courses and stuff. Now, we'll talk about it later, but one of the courses that we put together is called the marriage proposal. Because I have some very interesting thoughts on marriage, and this was all a part of my deconversion and deconstruction, and just really reimagining how the world actually was around me as opposed to what I thought it was. And so that's where some of this comes from is just being clear and intentional in the beginning and moving beyond just the I like you, you like me, let's touch each other and let's hold hands and stuff. And it's like, but no, what do we actually do for each other? How are we helping each other? What is our actual commitment to each other other than just shallow sex? Like really, like other than, you know, gender roles, like what is really the value in this partnership? And that's how I like to look at all relationships in my life, as partnerships. Even my relationships with my children, these relationships are partnerships. And so very much so, any of you, whether you're liking and subscribing and commenting, whether you are joining our membership tiers or you're joining our Patreon, getting connected with us on social media and Discord, whatever you're doing in that sense, to me, you're partnering with us, because just by doing those small things, you're helping us get the word out. You're helping us spread. You're helping us build. And I want to make sure I honor that by always being intentional and vocal about what I'm bringing to the partnership and what my intentions are for the partnership, and kind of what my expectations are out of this relationship. And I hope that you feel safe enough to do the same with me. I mean, after all, we've been dating a couple of months now, Okay, I'm only going to do that a few more times. But so here's the vision for the future. Don't go into any type of relationship with anybody without a clear vision of the future. You would think, right, that would be okay. This is not a relation, even though relationship is in the title. This is not a relationship thing, but don't do that. Get a clear vision of the future. Instead of a proposal being, "Will you marry me?" A proposal should be a detailed vision of what life is likely going to be like for the next 5 years, and are you willing to handle this with me? You know what I'm saying? All right. So anyway, this is my vision for the future for this channel. Number one is just that I really hope that this channel becomes both a feeding ground and a launching pad for new faces and voices to find confidence in their own sense of agency, autonomy, and authenticity, and that they do something with that. Incredible. At the end of the day, beyond the beyond the religious conversations, beyond the conversations about belief and skepticism, I really just want to help people actualize in whatever way that that means something for them. And also, while doing that, I'm looking for authentic leaders to kind of create a global hub of authentic leadership where we're actually engaging the conversations and doing the work of community. So I want this channel to be a place where people who are wrestling with that can come and both feed and find connection and network and be featured, which is why we're doing this thing with our patrons where we're going to do a monthly get together. And maybe we'll be doing that for our YouTube members too. I mean, why not, right? But secondly, I'll be partnering with other content creators and thought leaders to host monthly and even weekly live streams as we build on both deconstructive and reconstructive topics. Yes, it is important that we tear down and let go of a lot of things, but I also think it's equally important that we build up and grab on to some new, different, and even better things. And conversations are often the starting place of discovery. I do my best not to be the person to try to define what those better things should be, because I think that's the mistake that religious figureheads often make, is that they feel the need to become the defining factor for everybody else, and I don't find that necessary, nor do I find that helpful. What I find to be the most beneficial thing in the world to do is to get an understanding of what everybody at the table is kind of needing. I mean, that's the hard work. I get it. It's hard work, but it's the work that we should be doing. And so I don't plan on making any declarative statements. I don't plan on making any definitive arguments. Instead, I plan on creating space for conversations and community so that we can all figure it out together, right? And the best way to do that for me is by partnering with other people, the same way we've already started doing when we did the Here We Grow celebration, which is almost time to do another one. We're at over 1,300 subscribers. But that's what I want to do. I want to bring people together to have these conversations, and I want to normalize that. I want to normalize communities without belief. I want to normalize communities without superstition. I want to normalize skeptical, secular communities. I want to normalize community without doctrine, without dogma. And so, yeah. But then also, okay, I'm actually going to be sharing more content on the channel about my weight loss journey. I was over 580 pounds. I am now right under 200. Woohoo! Um, and how critical thinking has impacted several aspects of my life, including my concern with our social, cognitive, economic, physiological, emotional, mental, and even spiritual health. Once we ground that in our natural understanding of experiences, but our spiritual health as a species, I'm concerned with all of these things and what those things mean, how those things will play out. And again, I don't believe that in any way that I should necessarily be the person who defines what any of that should be, but I would love to be one of the architects, a part of that work. And so that's where I'm throwing myself. And so I'll be sharing a lot of not just my thoughts, but my experiences, walking you through how critical thinking and my newfound relationship with it has significantly impacted several areas of my life, again, including my health and my finances. It's completely revolutionized the way that I even look at the economy, by even making me willing to actually wrestle with economics in that sense. And for our patrons and members, I'm going to be thinking really hard about ways to bring you behind the scenes, right? And let you explore and engage how I make this happen and how that evolves. Because right now it's just me sitting at my work desk in between work hours. Um, but how we actually get this done with the support of my non-believing family. We are definitely not your ordinary neighbors. We're the non-believers next door, all six of us. And then the last part, for as far as the vision of the future, what I really want to get out of this, I want this channel to become a bridge for people, organizations, and movements to find each other and promote healthy, progressive thinking and people-centric community on and offline. That's the work that I'm committed to. That's the work that I'm invested in. At the end of the day, and when I go through my comments, it's very clear that this is what people really want. Yes, I could be another talking head on YouTube and I can, maybe make a lot of money one day, but that's not really the goal. That would be nice. Don't get me wrong. Hey, I'm not that guy. But that's not the goal. The goal is to actually build progressive thinking, people-centric community. That's the freaking goal. And to normalize this, to normalize that you don't have to be superstitious to have community. And you shouldn't have to sacrifice community when you step away from superstition. And that community is something that's actually relatively easy to do. We just have to be intentional about doing it, and we have to make it a regular part of the conversation. And that's what I want to do with this channel. I want this channel to be a gateway to a world of new, emerging, and evolving communities. Are you willing to partner with me in that? Is this the type of relationship that you want? Are you ready to take this thing to the next level? Because I got to be honest with you, I am.